Let's share this link real quick. Okay, put that there. Send that to everybody. Okay. Then let me go to Twitter real quick. And then we will get started. I can type. Okay. All right. So I've already designed this thing, and I actually have already. This is the first test piece. If I can get it to focus, there's a few issues with this one already. I screwed up the footprint on a couple of components, but I think I managed. We're just gonna test this today and see if it works like I hope it does. So we are basically gonna jump right into this. I need to assemble it, and then yeah, reflow it, and then we'll build some firmware, start testing it, see if we can get it to record some data to an SD card. So let's go to my microphone's going to change, so hopefully it is good. And it's not the right one. That's the right one. Okay. All right. So I got stuff in my way. Should have rearranged this a little better beforehand. So got this. Now the SD card goes on the bottom, so we need to do that first. So move all this out of the way. Grab some tape. So we can put this on the bottom of the stencil here. This. Move some stuff around here. All right. That's going to, this is in frame. Try and get this lined up as best I can. Oh, no. Apologize if it's not in focus, but that looks pretty close there. I think it's got to be perfect, but okay. So we've got that. This is the bottom side. This is the top side. We got to do the bottom side first. Let me find my stuff to some solder paste on there. So we've got our solder paste. I'm gonna mix this up. Maybe getting a tad dry, unfortunately, but I need to try and mix this up. Okay. So I'm just mixing this up, trying to get a little smoother. It's not going to take very much. Okay, just put that on there like that. Then we're going to smear this on. Again, not going to take very much. Okay, that was fast and easy. I'm going to peel that off. So let's take a look. Oh, that looks pretty good as far as the paste goes. And then I need to put that on there. Now, one thing I did there are a couple of like locator holes on this thing for the bottom of this, and I had to build the footprint from scratch. So those locating holes are ever so slightly off. So I actually had to just clip the pins off the bottom of this thing. But I'll fix that for the next one. So just basically like that. And let's put it in the reflow oven. So that part was fast. All right, so while that is reflowing, I'll talk about this thing for a second. So my deal with this is to have kind of a compact data logger, and I have two LDOs on this with two stemma connectors. So the idea being is that you can plug in, your Adafruit or SparkFront sensors with these. One of the LDOs will turn off in deep sleep, and the other one will stay on at all times. So the reason why you might want two is if one to save battery power if you're doing like a long-term data logging of something, like say you put this out in a shed and you want to track temperatures over the course of a year or something like that. Any battery saving gains would be really helpful. Whereas if you need to keep it on all the time, like for instance, if you want to wake the board up with a sensor reading, well, obviously you can't have the sensor off. So it helps to have a LDO that's always on. So we will test all that today, but okay, so it's just gonna take a minute or two to reflow here. I can kind of show you what it's gonna look like. I don't have all the 3D models in here, but yeah, we have our boot and reset. We'll have our LDOs, USB-C, we have a battery connector, a charging circuit so you can charge your LED, or not your LED, your LiPo battery. We've got a voltage monitoring, so we can monitor the voltage of the battery over time. This is the back. This is obviously just kind of it's not finalized. I just kind of threw something together to try and make it look a little better. And then obviously the SD card goes on the bottom. So yeah, this should be exciting. I'm really excited to test this thing. This is something I've wanted for a while. Like I said, I'd ordered these, and then I realized I screwed up something with the SD card, so I fixed it and then ordered the replacement at the same time. Hopefully I got it right on the second one. But I actually had like another revision that came in at the same time, but I'm pretty sure these would be dead on arrival, so live and learn. Okay. Still reflowing over there. So, yeah. You're fine. Wife's getting ready to leave for the day. So, yeah, we're just kind of waiting right now. And then once that thing's done reflowing, we can put all the components on it on the other side. All right, so let's just do All right. Like another minute or two, and then it'll be done in the reflow oven. This is probably the most boring part of the process. I suppose I could have just put that SD card on beforehand, but it literally just showed up in the mail a little bit ago. I'm like, I want to build this now, so might as well stream it. It's almost there. I don't know if you're gonna hear it go off or not, but okay. There it is. Okay. To the top down. And I will have it over here in a second. I'm gonna have to put it on a metal plate for just a minute to cool off, but that won't take very long. There it is. Oh, damn it, Paul. I literally just knocked it off. Like an idiot. Hopefully that reflowed okay. I'm gonna literally went to set it on my metal plate and it slipped off the tweezers. I'm gonna reflow it real quick just so we can make sure that it's good. I think I got it back on there quick enough, but I'd rather double check it. So let that heat up. Never a dull moment. I've got parts everywhere. And nowhere to put them. Put that there. So, let's see. Heating this up. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay. I have to wait for this thing to heat up. It's up to 300 degrees, so it should just be a second longer. See if I can move this around. There we go. Okay, let's try this again without flinging it off. Okay, disconnect that. Set that over there. Just put it on my metal plate here so that it'll cool off fast. And then we will solder up the other side and start putting all components on it. And then we can test it. Let's see here. Not quite cool enough just yet. Hopefully the solder joint is strong enough that it'll not pop off when I try to put an SD card in there. I don't think it will, but we'll find out. Okay, so that's the bottom, and the idea is you push your SD card in there, but obviously we have to put all the stuff on the top side, so we will do that now. Okay. sure I get this the right way around. I'm gonna have to do this out of the camera view so I can get it all lined up right. Bear with me for a second. So. Pain the butt getting all these. Lined up just right. That's pretty good. Okay. Just look at this a little closer. Okay. So that should be lined up. You're fine, you're not. Hi. Yep, love you too. Have a good day. Sorry, my wife was just running off to work. Okay, now we put some more solder paste on and do this side. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this on a larger scale because having something on the bottom kind of makes it a little annoying to the simple stuff. I don't know if it makes more sense to do all the little components first and then do the SD card last. But I have to reflow this again, which I'd be a little concerned about all those little components maybe falling off at some point, but we'll see. Okay, so we got that on there. Let's pull that off. Looks like a pretty good paste job. Set this, let me move all the stuff around just real quick. And, okay, got that on the lid. Okay, to carefully try and slide this into frame. Hopefully that's focused. And again, move some stuff out of the way. This is a little, I don't know if I can move my chair. That's as high as it goes. To get this in camera view, I'm kind of far this way, so I have to like lean forward, but okay. Let me move this. I need to be able to see what I'm putting on this thing. So, let's do the 10 microfarads first. Capacitors. Some of this is going to be, oh, I'm an idiot. Well, a couple of these components were not the correct size. Yeah, that's not bad actually. I screwed up some of the footprints on like two of my components, so the stencil was not quite the right size, but I think it did okay as far as putting paste on those pads. Good enough for a test run at least. So I need how many of these? I need 7 of these. That's 5. 7. Try and do this where I can move all this stuff around. Okay. Now the fun begins. And the reason why I'm not using my pick and place machine to do this is because it's faster to, if I'm just assembling one by hand, it's faster to just do it. If I'm just assembling one, which I am for this test here, it's just faster to do it by hand than it is to do the whole setup process for the pick and place machine. But if I was making, 100 of these, then it's faster with the pick and place. It's kind of like once you've got it set up, then you don't have to necessarily worry about it so much anymore. One here. And one, try to see the pads here. Hopefully that's not touching. It kind of looks like it is. Let me see if I can break that solder joint. Hopefully that's not a problem. I kind of cramped all these components in here because I didn't want to go down to 0402 if I could help it. But I might have to pay close attention to any bridges that could happen. Okay, need one of these, one microfarad. This one goes, where's this one go? This one goes here. Okay, 1 nanofarad. Do I have any of those? In my little, I don't know what I did in my book. 1 sec. Those are resistors, capacitors. Oh, I've got a book of capacitors somewhere. Now, let's just do another microfarad. This one goes there. Okay. Now 5.1K resistor. How many of these do I need? I need 5 of these. How many is that? That is 5. Wow. Good job, Paul. Fun part is getting all these to sit up the correct way. Okay. So we got one up here. One here. Got 2 over here. And 1, yeah, up here. Okay. Got a 3.3K. 2 of those. Oops, just dropped one. I think that would. Okay, so this I got. And again, hopefully all this works. It's one of those things you build something for the first time, and sometimes you run into little issues where you screwed something up, or. So we'll see how far we get today with this, but hopefully it works. 100K resistor. I need 2 of these, I think. So, yep. Okay. It goes there. And this one goes there. This is actually 442 if I'm not mistaken. And we'll just, okay. Okay, this one goes here. This is our voltage divider for our battery monitoring. You can see, keep track of the voltage of the battery over time. Okay. Got an LED. Guess we'll just go with red because this is for the charging circuit. Never remember which way this goes. We'll find out. I may have to reflow that. Okay. Okay, then we got a Schottky diode, which I thought I had one sitting up here somewhere. There we go. Now this one I have to get on the right way. Grab a little magnifying glass here. Let's see which way it goes. Hopefully it reflows. Okay, got RGB LED, which I think goes this way. Got our MOSFET. Hopefully this will just fit on there. This is one of the ones I kind of screwed up the footprint on. I think it'll work, but we'll find out. Now we've got, pretty sure these are voltage regulators. Let's see which ones these are. So, spin this around. One goes there. The voltage regulator and the battery charge controller look exactly the same as far as the same package goes. Gotta make sure you get the right ones. Pretty sure this is right though. Again, we'll find out. Let's see here. Get a battery one out. So that's a battery. Charge circuit, rather. You can see these look exactly the same. They do have like slightly different writing on them on the top, but you have to really look under a microscope kind of a thing to see. Okay. I think those are all the big ones. Or not big ones, but all the components. I need to put on all the other stuff. Let's put buttons on. Okay. I don't know, is this one good? Let's see what thing I want to do. Close this up. We got our stemma connectors here. And we need a JXT connector for the battery. Steal out of the pick and place machine. Finish my sentences. Okay. Let me just make sure. The biggest issue I have with building these things is getting bridges on my USB connectors. Like between the little pins. When you have those, they don't, yeah, I don't care. I guess some of these, I'll just use these. Which, if you have bridges on your USB, then it won't work when you plug it in. Ow! Okay, that's a little... Okay. Oh! Trying to do this without. Okay. Okay. And I think the last thing we got here is the ESP32 S3. Let's try and get this on here without smearing any of the pads, if at all possible. Carefully. Okay. This is quite kind of precarious here. Try not to bump anything. Okay. I think that's everything. That was pretty fast. So, Let's stick it in the reflow oven, see how well it reflows. So give me a second here. I'm gonna have to kind of figure something out as far as setting this in there. Because I've got a battery, or not battery, but a SD card on the bottom. Carefully. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, let's let that reflow. Come back here. Drinking my coffee. So I want to check something while we're waiting on that. So I was just literally messing around with a library as far as getting you know, data to read to an SD card. Because sometimes that can be a little tricky to set up, and I don't want to waste a bunch of time on the stream doing that. So I literally set up, you know, using one of my BS3s, kind of the same thing. But I want to see. My computer shut off in the middle of the night, so I don't know if it stopped taking data, but I'm kind of curious to see if any or what data is on this thing. Open this. All right. Oh yeah, I took a whole bunch of readings. Cool, so that worked. Very consistent. All right, so that works at least. Let's go. Bear with me for a second here. PC format. Okay. All right. So the other thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to set up pin definitions for this new board. And some other stuff, which we can get into while we're waiting. So let me actually open up the schematic view of this. Again, hopefully, I guess that 10 nanofarad was for the SD card. Hopefully that doesn't screw anything up. And let's see. So we need to go to ESP. So we're gonna go to our ESP32 library. Gonna go to variants. I'm just gonna copy. We'll just do copy the BMotion S3. Paste it. Rename it. B data auger. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to change some stuff with this. So we don't have this for this particular board. The auger. Okay, so this stuff we're gonna have to change because it's not gonna be the same pinouts exactly. So let's bring up schematic view. So RX and TX, those are the same. That makes sense. SCL and SDA. SCL is 35. SCL, right? Did I get that right? That 35. SDA is 37. So that's the same. So 30. Make sure. Oh no, wait, I had that right the first time. Let's open up the reflow real quick. Let's work on this a bit while we let that thing cool off. So SDA 37, STL 30. Okay, so it's the same. We need to change. So miso is 45. These are important because this is what our SD card goes off of. Masi's 46. 46. Clock is on 48. SS is 47. 47. Don't really care about those two. Everything else, well, I guess we can make sure it's right. So, how many did we break out? That's what matters. So V-bus is on 2. Voltage is on, okay, so those are the same. We don't have a PIR sensor on this. We don't have an LDO, or our light sensor rather. We do have a second LDO, which is on, I think probably the same one, no? Yep, 34, RGB power, RGB data. Make sure, so NeoPixel, where's NeoPixel at here? On 40, those are the same. Okay, so that's good. And then we broke out, so we need 4. Same down here. 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. And 3. We have 3 as well. Whoops. A little big there. Okay. So we don't have 7, and then we don't have 8, 9, 10, 11, so we don't have these. Oh wait, we do have 14. We don't have 15. 16 or 17. We do have the rest of them though. We can change these. 4, 4, okay. I think those are all right. Everything else looks okay. Let's save that. And then the next thing we need to do is go back to here. We need to go to boards. I talked about this in my last stream. If you ever set up your own custom boards so you can select them in Arduino, like from the drop-down list of all the different ESP32 boards, you have to make the pin definitions, which I just did. And now we have to add it to this list of boards, which is it's a massive text document that has just, I'll open it up, you'll see it's huge. We have to add stuff to this as well. So as you can see, this is a boards document. So I'm gonna control find. I'm gonna find one of my other boards. vMotion S3, that's the one I want. So basically between these hash marks and there's one farther down right here, all the stuff in between is what's needed. So that these are basically setting all of the menu options and a bunch of other data that Arduino IDE needs to be able to recognize and program your board. So I am just going to copy my own stuff. And basically, if you were doing this, you just find, if you're using an ESP32 S3, just find another S3 board in here because a lot of this information is basically the same between different boards. They use the same chipset. You just have to change some identifying markers basically to whatever yours is. So I'm just going to copy this. And I'm just going to add it here, come down, let's put this in. And then we're going to scroll back up and the data logger. Then I'm going to control find. Hopefully. Okay, so we want to go to our first one and we're going to replace it. So we're going to do the data logger. And I'm going to enter and it's going to replace it everywhere. Where it says variant, this needs to be named exactly the same thing as what your board is named in the variants folder. So in my case, I don't know if I can zoom in here. I don't know, that probably does not make it any better. Now I've just screwed it up. That way. So I named mine B underscore data underscore logger. It has to be the same thing, which is right here. So we're gonna, that's what I named this. So it's gonna, we'll just replace it. And of course it skipped it apparently. Down, place that. Why is that not replacing? Okay, something just screwed up there. There we go. And then as we're replacing these, when you get to the end of the list, you want to make sure you don't loop, because once I do this one, it's going to go up to the very first one that I copied. I don't want to replace that one, so stop here. Okay, save that. So we got that. Let's open up our Arduino and see if it shows up. It should. And give it a second to open up. Thinking about it. Here we go. Thinking about it. Nice and slow today. Okay. So it's updating the packages right now. We should do that. I don't know if it's gonna, okay. So now if we go to here, ESP32, scroll down, massive list of boards, and there's our B data logger that we just made. Okay, so we got that. The other thing we need to do is probably set up, we're probably gonna have to set up a library. So let's come here. I kind of started one. I probably want to start over because I didn't like where that was going last time. Let's delete that. Copy B motion S3 because a lot of stuff's the same. I don't want to waste time rewriting a bunch of stuff. Yeah, B data logger. Okay, open this up. Go to library. Okay, like this one. So, the B data logger. And we don't have the URL yet because we haven't uploaded it. We're going to include BDL. So we will name ours. Save that. I'm going to go to source. Actually, let's rename this first because this is going to be BDL. Okay, so BDL. We don't have ASL, so we don't need that. We can keep that. BDL. First time I go and load this, I'll probably get some errors if I miss some of this stuff. That's all the same. We kept that the same from the other one. VBAT. We don't have a light sensor on this thing. Okay. We don't have PIR sensor on this one. We do have an LDO2. LDO2, pixel power. Don't need the wake up thing. Color. Get battery voltage. We don't need to get light. And I think that's it. Okay. Yeah, because it should. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. And then examples. These are all the examples from my. We'll get rid of all those because most. Or no, we shouldn't have. Whoops. Let me. Get rid of light sensor. That one. Night light. PIR. Did I do USB check on this thing? I think I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, so we will keep these. I'm just gonna have to change a couple of things in here. So BDL, BDL, BDL underscore BMS3. There we go. BDL. That. Place this everywhere. Everywhere? I think so. And it'll give us an error if it does, which is fine, which we can fix it, you know, if that happens. Let's do USB check. We'll change this one too. BDL. Just going through and replacing all these. Okay, well, that's all those. That was easy. And let's do RGB because we want to test the RGB thing on this as well. So PDL, PDL, place that. Okay. PDL. I have some other examples in here that I commented out. We'll change. Save that. I want to make sure, actually. Let's go back to here. Let's go to our source file. Because the RGB, let's do BMS. Okay, maybe I did get them all. Okay. All right. So we got all that. Got a couple of examples. Let's restart our Arduino. Oops. Arduino. And then we go to examples. Oh, well, let it load up. There we go. Scroll down through my massive list of stuff. We got B data logger, and we have our examples that we had made it. I didn't update LDO2 and I didn't update Deep Sleep from the copy, but and then the other thing, the other program that I had made, open recent, I think it was this one. This is the one we're going to want to try. And the only other thing, I'm gonna need that. Okay, let me grab the board out of the reflow oven. Let's see if it's cooled off enough. Let's go. All right, well, let's go This one? Yes. Okay, so better refload. I'm gonna look at this up close because I don't want to. I'm gonna see if I can see any bridges or anything that could be a problem. And I don't see anything blatantly obvious. Although there might be, our USB might be a problem, which that reflowing, that's gonna be fun. Let me plug it in and see. I'll find out real quick if there's a bridge. Yep, there is. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. So normally when I reflow these USBs, I stick them on my hot plate here. But since I have a SD card on the bottom, you know, sticking it on there and reflowing it's going to be kind of a pain. So I'm probably going to have to use a hot air gun, which is not the end of the world, but it's going to be a little more difficult. So give me a second to... I had to grab my hot air gun from another station over there. I do not have a ton of room over here. So... Sorry, bear with me, guys. It's got stuff everywhere. Try not to knock things over. Plug this in. All right. Okay, that's on. Let me see if I can't do this. Trying to get this in view so you guys can see it. Okay. The other thing I want to do is I'm just going to grab a fresh USB connector. Oh. I've found, like, if I try, like, basically once there's a bridge on these tiny little pins of the USB, they're basically impossible to get off. Okay, let's turn this on. I'm gonna try and focus this a little more. So hopefully you can see it. And now the fun part is trying to do this without knocking anything off of this. Might be more entertaining for you guys, but not for me. And hopefully it doesn't heat up enough that the SD card on the bottom falls off. That would be annoying. That was the only bridge that I saw though was on the USB, which is not bad considering I have so many of these components crammed in there so close together. So trying to heat this up. Okay. Got it off. I'm going to try and break any bridges between any of the pins there. Really hard to see. It's far away from the... Okay, that doesn't look terrible. Oh! Trying to concentrate here. And hopefully there's enough solder in those legs that'll hold on. Sometimes if there's not, it'll you can rip the USB off, which sucks, but okay, so let's turn that off so it's not, hopefully that wasn't too loud for you guys. Right in front of the mic, so maybe it was, I apologize. Okay, so we will let that cool for a second. Let's see if I can see any. Okay, I don't see any obvious bridges on that, which is good. Okay. Again, hopefully it doesn't rip itself off. I'm not going to show you my desk, but it is an absolute disaster. Like, there's just stuff everywhere. It's like I'm trying to move stuff around to make room for things. I'll cool off a little bit here. It's definitely still warm. I'm going to try and put it on this hot plate and see if it sucks some of the heat out of it. Okay. So yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is the first revision of my data logging board. It has an SD card on the bottom, or card slot rather. Has two LDOs, two voltage regulators, with two stemma connectors, so we can plug in different sensors. You know, any of these Adafruit or SparkFun sensors use this stemma connector form factor. So if you want to log, you know, temperature over time or altitude or, you know, any kind of thing, that's the idea behind it. The reason why there's two LDOs is that one of them we can turn off when it goes into deep sleep mode, which means that it would turn, you know, this off, which saves even more battery power. But we also have one that stays on all the time in case you want to wake up your board with whatever the sensor reading is, you know, spitting out. Obviously, if it's shut off, you can't do that. So that's why there's two of them. So hopefully we trying to cool us off a little bit. I don't feel too bad. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't. Okay, I heard it at the computer. That's good. That LED is definitely backwards for the charge controller because that should be blinking right now. So let's try and program. Let's do the RGB LED and see if I got that on there right. Give me a second while I open up my. Let me put it in download mode because that beeping's gonna drive me nuts. So data logger, RGB LED. We'll find out if I got everything changed correctly. I need to change this to 1 second here. Data logger. Let's go to piled fine. So it's uploading maybe. Okay, connecting. All right, that's good. The ESP part of it works. So now let me go back to top down. We hit reset. See if I might have that RGB on there backwards. So that should be cycling through the colors. Let me look at this. Let me look at some other real quick one. It should be the same, I think. One sec, hold on. I've had two different footprints for this RGB LED, and if I get it on there, okay, I do have it on the wrong. I'm looking at a different board that I had done with that other footprint, and I have it on there wrong. So guess what? We get to reflow this again. So we might as well flip that and the charging LED at the same time since we're doing both of them. We'll do that real quick. Put this in a place where I'm not gonna. Okay, give me a second. I need to find a position where I can see everything that I need to heat up. This should go a little faster since there's. These are pretty small. Okay, it's back on again. I apologize for the noise if it's too loud. I have no idea what it sounds like on your guys' end. So, I need to rotate this one 45 degrees, basically like one turn counterclockwise. Give it to rotate, come on. And I lost it. Okay. That sucker just popped right off the end of my tweezers. Let's grab a new one. Okay. Okay. Then this up here. I need to turn this LED around. Boom. Okay, I think that's almost there. Okay. All right, we got those flipped. Again, let it cool off for a second, and then we'll plug it in and see if that does a job. We can also test a couple of things with this, actually. Should be fun. So, yeah, I just need to let this cool off because it's gonna be pretty hot. Back on the metal plate. Carefully. Okay, let that cool off for a second. And once it's cool, we'll plug it in. And what we should see is hopefully this RGB LED will cycle through the colors, and then this charge LED should be kind of blinking a little bit. Basically, when it blinks like that, when no battery is plugged in, it's basically like trying to charge something that isn't there. So it just kind of blinks. And when you plug in a battery, it should be solid. And when the battery is fully charged, it'll go off. That's the idea, at least. Every once in a blue moon, that charge LED will be solid even when nothing is plugged into it. So there's some like bridge or something's happening where it doesn't have the correct connection. Okay. We're getting there. Let me see if I can blow one out to cool it off here. Okay, so let's see what happens. So the charge LED is blinking correctly, but the RGB LED is not. Why is that? Looks like it's kind of on, but it's not. Huh. Pretty sure I have it on there the right way now. Unless like the solder connection was not that good. Okay. Might have to reflow that RGB LED again. Again, apologize for the air noise. That should be right. Basically just lifted it off and put it back on to see if I get the solder joint better. Hopefully. What's hot? I'm pretty dang sure that's right. Good one. So Pixel. A second here, guys. Sorry. I mean, I guess I could just rotate it again, but. And going off of the footprint, that should be right, but I guess we'll just rotate it and see if that works. Okay, rotated. Okay. Don't really like heating these up that much, but nope, that's not the right way either. All right, rotate it again. Third time's a charm. It's also possible that, like, maybe that since that LED, if it was RGB, if it was on there the wrong orientation, when I first powered it up, could have fried it potentially, and that's why it wasn't working like it was supposed to. But we can always try a different one. Oh no, that wouldn't be the case because I lost the original one. I snapped off my tweezers and went somewhere. Sorry, I'm just blowing this off screen. Blowing on it off screen. Trying to cool it off. So we're not wasting a bunch of time. Hold on here for a second. So if this doesn't work, I'm going to go back to the other orientation that I thought it was. And maybe there's... Maybe, I mean, I guess there could be a code problem, I suppose, but... Yeah, that's not it. Okay. Let's take it off. Let's put a new one on, just for the heck of it. And if that doesn't work, it's probably a code problem. So just take a second. It actually kind of looks like there's not much solder on that one joint. What did I do with my solder? There we are. Solder. I'm going to put just a tiny bit more solder on that joint. That could be the problem. That's a bit too much. Okay, let's... Okay. Okay. Hopefully that does a trick. I put that on the right. Yeah, I did. Okay. So let's take it off of that down here so it can cool off faster off the metal plate. And then we'll plug it in. If it still doesn't work, then it's probably a code problem. It looks like it's trying to turn on, so it makes me wonder if maybe one of the pads didn't have enough solder on it to form the correct connection. We'll see. So yeah, if you're ever reflowing something or heating something up, you know, you want to cool it off, put it on something metal. The metal will suck the heat out of it. So, okay. It's not too bad. Okay, it's trying to turn on. You can kind of see, I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit here. You can kind of see the, oh, lost my, it's in focus here. You can kind of see it's like trying to turn on there, but it's not for some weird reason. So let's take a look. Go back to the code here. Let's see if there's something obvious in here that we're missing. Let's just try a standard color and see if that does anything. Download mode again. That is weird. Oh, that's not going to work because I don't have a port. We'll see if it'll just turn on blue. Let me 1 second. My Steam Deck's acting weird anytime I go between stuff. It wants to relaunch OBS, which I don't want it to do. Yeah, OBS. Home. System. Sorry guys, I'll just make sure I Get rid of that. Okay, so hopefully that will not start it again. Okay, so let's see if this will just turn blue. Huh. What the heck is going on there? Pretty sure I got that. The weird thing is if I put it in download mode, it turns green for some reason. Let's look. Just gonna mess with the RGB part of this for a little bit longer, but not that much longer. Go here. Variants. Data logger. Sure. RGB data is 40. Is that right? Should be on LDO2. Or no, yeah, 40 is NeoPixel. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's see if that's working. Plug this in. Okay, so LDO2 is working because we're getting power to our breakout board. LDO1 is working. Okay. All right, so I'll have to invest. That's weird. It's like that RGB is kind of blinking when I move the. Does it do it when I don't move it? Now it's off. Huh. Must be like some weird connection issue going on. Okay, so done that. Let's try that. The whole point of this thing is to try and log some data. So I plug in my SD card. Hopefully all this is right. So we got that plugged in. My code uses this BMP388. So let's just plug that into one. Okay. So get that plugged in. Go back to here. Don't save that. So I don't think I'm gonna have to change anything on here. I don't think. We'll try and upload it and we'll see what happens. Let me I have a feeling that USB connector is actually okay. So we should. I don't know why it's not showing up on my port. Okay. Oh, dang it. That's what I was afraid of. One sec. Show you. So I was talking about earlier that USB has come off. So I can fix it. It's not the end of the world, but definitely annoying. So let me try and get this in view again for you. I don't know if I can just, that's warm. it was starting to disconnect, so let's do a little repair job here. The reason why it disconnects is because the legs on it weren't getting enough solder connection. Okay. And what usually I'll do is I'll use this little syringe and I'll put a little bit of solder on these mounting points. Okay. And we'll put this back on. Actually, hopefully that doesn't cause too much of an issue there. And reflow it back down. Okay. Let that cool off again. Hopefully that'll be enough solder in there to hold it on. Yeah, because what happens, I don't know if that makes sense or not. Where they went? A bunch of old ones. What happens with that is if there's not enough solder joints or enough solder holding these legs down, then you can just pull the whole thing off, which is less than ideal. Okay. So the sucker's probably still pretty warm. I think that looks a little better. Put that on there so it can cool off again. So yeah, I don't know why the RGB part's not working like it should. So let's plug this back in again. Okay. Let me put my SD card back in. Let's plug in our sensor. Put it into download mode. Back over here. There it is. And we need to select, oh, not that one, this one. And let's see if this will upload. We'll see if it'll compile for it, I should say first, and then see if we actually get any kind of SD card action. So, give it a second. Compile. Okay, that's good. Compiled for that board. Should upload. Okay. good deal. And trying to increase this a little bit, so hopefully you can. I'm gonna reset it and then turn on the serial monitor. So let's reset it. Let me select the port that it's on. And let's do serial monitor. And this needs to be on 11. Let's try it again. Okay, connecting to Wi-Fi. Okay. It's out. Hey! I think that worked. It detected my SD card here. It detected the size. It created a file called data.txt. It saved the epoch time, the temperature, and the altitude. And then it appended it to that file that it created. And here in like, there it goes. I have it like doing this on cycle basically. So there should be 2 readings on that SD card. So I'm going to pull the SD card out. And I'm going to plug it into. So when this thing on the serial monitor goes again, it probably should give me an error because there's no SD card there, I would imagine. Okay, so here's our data, and there should be 2 entries in here. Sure, open it. There they are. That actually works. Yeah, okay. And then it failed to open the file because obviously the SD card's not on there. I am shocked that actually works. I've never built an SD card, reader on an ESP32 before, so I'm kind of surprised that actually worked. I'm ecstatic that it actually works. As easy as that was. Let me plug it back in. So it's trying to append the file. It's going to give me an error again. I would assume, or it did. Okay, so I'm going to plug the SD card back in. A little tricky getting on the bottom side, but okay, and let's wait and see if that actually will append it again correctly. So it worked. Took the reading, appended to the file, and it appended it. So there should be 3 readings in there now. How cool is that? So yeah, the idea behind this is, and so right now it's connecting to Wi-Fi, grabbing the epoch time so we can have like a timestamp, which you can do it that way. But if this is something like, for instance, one thing I want to do is just for fun, I want to track like altitude over a period of time, like going on a trip or, a hike or something. Well, if you don't have Wi-Fi out there or any way to connect to it, you can't get the time other than like in milliseconds, which is from when the board turns on. I want to put the board to sleep, say battery wake up every, 30 seconds, a minute or whatever, take an altitude reading. But if I want the real time, I can use what's called a real time clock, which Adafruit makes, little breakouts for them too. I built one myself that I have being made right now that uses a different RTC chip. But at some point we can plug these in with the same, let me go back to we can continue to string these together so that we can get a real-time reading if I can get this thing lined up in the screen correctly. So that's awesome. The other thing we can do, let's plug in our battery and see if the charge works. That one's fully charged, that's why. Forgot to charge that one. So that does work. I charged this battery up the other day, so when I plug it in, that LED will stop blinking. Okay. Oh, that's the other thing. Let's do this. I don't know if it's going to work, so I'm going to unplug it. So it's running on battery power right now. You know, the sensor's still getting a reading, so let's let that sit for a minute. I just want to see if, I don't see why it wouldn't, but let's see if the SD card reads off of battery power. It should. I don't see why it wouldn't, but so yeah, that's I'm really excited about that. So I need to make a couple of small changes to this. One is the, which you can't really see on here very well. These footprints, or I think I did fix it, but I do need to turn these off because I don't want those on there if I forget. Yeah, those should be the right size. Yeah. The other things we can look at. Oh, we're just letting this thing run for a second. Here's just another one. I don't know if I'm probably gonna use the actual purple that I use for all my boards, but I just got a black one so I could differentiate between the. This is the first one I had made. I was talking about earlier where I sent it off to get made, and then I realized I made an error with the SD card connection, so I immediately made the revision and added it to the order as they were making it. So these both arrived at the same time, but this one I definitely knew wasn't going to work. So I got this one in black just so I could tell the difference on them. I guess I could have changed like the revision number. Actually, I did change the revision number. That one says, you know, V1, that's 1.1. But anyways, when I did that, some of these footprints accidentally re-updated. So I fixed those, and I accidentally put like the reference numbers on there, which isn't the end of the world. It's just a test thing. So let's so that's ran for a minute. Let's take that out. Plug it back in. See if we have more readings or not. I'm curious. Yeah, there they are. That's all those extra readings. That is awesome. I'm really excited about that. I probably shouldn't be as excited as I am, but so I need to figure out what's going on with the RGB LED. The LDO works, or the LDOs work. Yeah, I got a few little things I need to test on this, but it works, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Okay, well that was kind of the point of this stream. I have some other stuff I need to get done today. But this literally showed up in the mail, and I was like, I don't want to waste any time because I want to build it and test it out. So that's what I'm gonna do, or that's what I did on stream rather. So, thank you for tuning in if you did and watching, or if you watch this after the fact. Leave a comment below if this is something you think you could use at some point, or how you would use it if you did. I'm really excited. I got a couple different things I want to. I'll probably build maybe one or two more of these with my test ones that I've got, and then you know, let them run for a while just so I can test the longevity of it and try and figure out the RGB part. But yeah, otherwise, I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out so far. So, anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next stream or next video or whatever. So, later.